Welcome to Sideboard Sunday with Modern Burn today. We're going to be looking at the Modern Burn deck and how to sideboard against other top tier decks in Modern. The first deck that we're going to take a look at is sideboarding against Affinity. Affinity is traditionally a tough matchup because there is little interaction game 1. But after game 1, when sideboarding, you can bring in 4 Destructive Reverie and 2 Searing Blood. It is recommended that you take out 4 Eidolon and 2 Boros Charm, as Eidolon is not very good when they have tons of cheap artifacts that are played very fast. For instance, Eidolon is good when on the play on turn 2, but is not a good top deck, and can sometimes lock you out of the game late in the game. Also, Boros Charm deals 4 to the face, whereas Searing Blood is an upgrade to Boros Charm because interacting with their board while also dealing them damage is an important thing to do against Affinity. The Destructive Reveries that are coming in for the Eidolons are very necessary for interacting with key cards from the Affinity deck, such as Cranial Plating, Arcbound Ravager, and Spellskite. Next deck that we're going to sideboard against is Abzan. The Abzan archetype has always been somewhat split between Abzan Coco and Abzan Controlish, sort of like a Jund type style deck. We are looking at how to sideboard against the Abzan Controlish type style, mid-range if you will. The recommended sideboard that I would have is that you bring in 3 Path to Exile and remove 3 Searing Blaze. This is because Searing Blaze only hits a fraction of the creatures, whereas Path to Exile removes all roadblocks such as Tarmogoyf or a activated Grimflare. Removing those blockers and then getting in for extra damage is very important, while also removing the clock from the opponent. The goal of the sideboarded games is to still be as quick as possible while blanking as much removal as you can. Since the new iteration of Burn only has 12 creatures, the matchup is more favorable since their removal spells are less valuable. The next deck in the meta percentages is Jund. Jund is actually exact sideboarding as it was in Abzan, since they share the black-green shell. So you would want to bring in your 3 Path to Exiles and take out your 3 Searing Blaze. This is especially true for Jund, since Jund has bigger creatures than Abzan does that cannot be removed with Searing Blaze, but a Path to Exile can get the creatures off the board. The next deck we're going to take a look at is to sideboard against is Bant Eldrazi. Bant Eldrazi is a powerhouse in Modern right now, and the cards that we want in this matchup are, you guessed it, 3 Path to Exile. 3 Paths to Exile and 1 Exquisite Firecraft will come in this matchup, while removing 4 Eidolon of the Great Revel. Eidolon of the Great Revel is not a very good card against them, since it deals 2 damage for converted mana cost 3 or less, where most of their deck costs a decently large amount. Whereas Path to Exile removes their creatures, and Exquisite Firecraft is just an upgrade, a direct damage spell to the 4th Eidolon. Another deck that is big in Modern is Eldrazi-tron. This is a particularly popular deck right now. It's been picking up a lot of popularity. You want to bring in 3 paths in this matchup, as well as 4 Destructive Revelry. 3 Path to Exile are important for moving their large threats, and the 4 Destructive Revelry are important for getting their Chalice of the Voids that can lock you on 1 or lock you on 2, since they do have Tron lands and can cast a Chalice on 2 relatively early as turn 3. The cards that you want to take out in this matchup are 4 Eidolon, since they do not tax the opponent very much, and also 3 Searing Blaze. Since their creatures are rather large, they do not actually remove the creatures, and the Path to Exiles are better for removing the creatures. The last deck that we're going to take a look at is the Burn Mirror. For this sideboarding, we're going to bring in the 3 Path to Exile and the 3 Firewalkers. This is where it gets a little bit tricky on what to take out, since all the cards are relatively good in the Burn Mirror. But I recommend taking out 2 Eidolon, since it can sometimes lock you out of the game, and also 4 Rift Bolt, as Rift Bolt is a slow lightning bolt that doesn't interact with the board until a turn later. Another consideration for instead of Rift Bolt to take out is Light Lava Spike, since it only goes to the face and does not interact with the board. Interaction with the board is very important in the Burn Mirror, since creatures are at a premium, since they deal multiple points of damage over multiple turns, and require the opponent to use their burn spells to remove the creatures instead of going to the face and putting their life total down. This wraps up the sideboard guide for Modern Burn. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or email, and I will answer all those questions. And I hope you enjoyed this Sideboard Sunday, and join us next week on Sideboard Sunday.